What is going on, everybody? It is Gotham again here, and today I'm going to be showing you a team that I am calling Imperial Troopers 4.0. Okay, now at first glance, you probably wouldn't think this would even work, but I do have about 3 different battles some of my viewers have taken that I'll be able to show you, and what you're just going to see in these clips is just sheer, just raw DPS, okay? It is insane damage. Likes that really we have not seen since the dawn of Dark Trooper, for the Imperial Troopers, that is. Now, before we go ahead and showcase the game footage here, there is already a few really good things going on before we even hop into it, the actual team's performance. But one thing you'll notice is that we are able to take the leftover Imperial Troopers that got left in the dust by Imperial Remnant, right? Because Imperial Remnant took Dark Trooper, Death Trooper, right? And so taking Dark Trooper from Veers is, really bad. So, Iden kind of made do because she can take other leaderless troopers, but Veers not so much. He kind of lost all his damage. So if you use this lineup, you're able to use Imperial Remnant, Iden, and a Veers team, which I can actually show you right here. Another amazing thing is that every single Imperial Trooper, if you're using this lineup here, they all have a home, right? This doesn't include the new Moff Gideon, who's going to be coming out currently, but also you have to remember that's a Conquest character. It'll be a long time before people are able to get him. If you're not spending money on the Conquest Pass, if they're around my GP level and stuff like that, so this is a very, very affordable team. And as you can see, every single trooper is being used in this lineup, which is really nice because Imperial Troopers are a great faction. Another amazing thing is that this doesn't need Maul. Right? So you don't have to have 4 million galactic power and then wait an additional 15 months to get use out of your Imperial Super Commander in Gar Saxon, because previously the only real use you can get out of these guys is if you were doing a Gar Saxon 2v5 with ISC against like Gas or something like that, or with Maul. There's not really been any other teams that are able to make good, effective use of these two characters, and which is amazing because this rework has been live since September 26th. Which I guess if I turn off dark mode, you'd be able to see. September 26th, there it is. So yeah, this has been alive. Today, it's November the 17th today, so this has been nearly 2 months that this rework has been alive, and no one has really known about this until about 2 weeks ago. A creator named Lumplog uploaded this video on YouTube, and it was brought to my attention, and I at first just kind of chalked it up to it being a Galactic Challenge thing, I was like, it's really not going to work, and then I saw the gameplay footage myself, and ladies and gentlemen, this is real, okay? Let's go ahead and show you some footage of the Galactic Challenge event that was the most recent one, which was the Malachor one. And then I've got 2 other battles, which one's just like a cleanup, and then one other one's a different one. We'll get to that in a second. But let's go ahead and just see real quick the potential of this team when you use these 5 characters together, okay? So there's the mark, and as you'll see, just look at this DPS that is being outputted right now, and you really wouldn't think that this would work because, ISC and GAR are both just Empire. They're not Imperial Troopers themselves. Only, the 3 in the front are Imperial Troopers, but as you can see, there's plenty of assisting going on here, and it is just an absolute boatload of damage that is being output by these guys, okay? So, I mean, this damage is, dare I say, most definitely more damage than what Dark Trooper can output in this lineup, because as you can see, this clip, actually my camera's probably blocking it, but this is a 51-second long clip, okay? 13 seconds of this is just them getting into battle. So let's go ahead and take a look at when the battle starts. So there's the 15-minute mark. Let's go ahead and see when they wrap this up by. 30 seconds. They were able to beat the max difficulty of the Galactic Challenge in 30 seconds. Okay, so that is insane. So now this is going to be a Sith Eternal cleanup. It's not uncommon to use Imperial Troopers versus Sith Eternal, and this is Sith Eternal with the Wat Tambor tech. So this is a little bit more of a scuffed situation, but as you can see, there's the 5-minute starting time. They're going to wrap this up in not too bad of a fashion, right? They're going to be able to get through this pretty quick. So here's the mark, and he's doing his thing. Here comes the assists. There we go. Now we get the turn meter train rolling. And look at that damage. I mean, this is without really any stacks of Emperor's Trap being ramped. This is just pure, raw output of just damage from these guys, just right off the rip. So, really good stuff. And as you can see on this next assist, here they go. This is, oh, sorry, wait a minute, one more. I probably should have rewatched the clip one more time. But from this one right here, look at that. He's essentially full health. And then down he goes, right? So, like I said, really just tremendous raw DPS being output by these guys. And then here's another one, just because, beating CLS is kind of a staple to show how a team performs these days, right? So this is with, Veers being clapped right off the mark, right, because of Han. Like, he dies. Like, this is not a very heavily invested Troopers team. If you'll actually look at the investment into these guys, the viewer that I have is Colonel Sanders. Big shout out to him for allowing me to use this footage. This is the gear of the Troopers, so they are really not highly geared, right? And this has been the footage that we've seen for all 3 of these battles. That's all they are. Relic 3, and in the video for Let Lumplog uploaded, he had like a gear 10 of each trooper, and it worked like a charm. Okay, so you really don't have to have a lot of gear on these guys. And this is with Veers being, bodied just right off the rip. And look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 assist from these guys, and down goes CLS. Insane DPS. I do not think that Dark Trooper would have been able to kill CLS right off the rip like that they just did. Seemingly effortlessly. And then look at this. Another assist. Boom. Chewbacca's dead. This is 1 assist per each unit, right? Every single one has been basicked once, and all the assists killed everybody. So that was a cleanup. That was a 26-second clip. Amazing. Now, another good thing that I want to talk about. Obviously, like I said, this team is very accessible. But not only are they very accessible, they are very affordable. Look at this. So we have Dark Trooper here, right? He has 250 Mark 7 Kairos. Now, he also has 150 Mark 9 Kairos, meaning that in total, that's 400 Kyrotechs that you are building right off. Normally, what's going to be right off the rip, just because a lot of people recommend going Imperial Trooper super early into the game, right? So, but if we take a look at Imperial Super Commando, we will notice he only requires 100 Kyrotechs, and same with Gar Saxon. He also only needs 100 Kyrotechs, meaning that the 2 of them combined cost half of what Dark Trooper costs, and they're putting out nearly twice, if not more, times as much damage. So not only are they easily accessible to any players at any stage in the game, they're also very affordable for any player at any stage of the game. Now let's go ahead and hop into the kits of these characters, and let's talk about why it works the way they do, and then we're going to go ahead and take one more look at the footage here, and then we're going to give a breakdown at what is going on based off the knowledge that we've gained, okay? So we all pretty much know the Imperial Super Commando rework at this stage. There's been so many videos talking about it, but basically the important thing is that whenever he attacks out of turn, which is an important clarification, right? Out of turn, he is dealing true damage, and anytime he is also attacking out of turn, he calls in Gar Saxon, and then vice versa. Anytime Gar Saxon attacks out of turn, he's calling in Imperial Super Commando to attack out of turn, right? Now, another thing I want to make that's important here is that also I want to note that Imperial Super Commando also has 100% counterattack chance, which is in this unique as well here. 100% counterattack chance, okay? That's also a big deal, all right? So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at Gar Saxon, just so that we see his as well. His is not very important. This basically just says, when another ally attacks during an enemy turn. So basically, this is like more so for counterattacks, right? But basically the whole point is that when these characters attack out of turn, they both attack. So when one attacks, the other attacks, okay? Now, we have the General Veers lead. Okay, this is giving 30% offense because, ISC and GAR are Empire allies, so 30% offense is very nice for them to have. But this is actually a really good second part of the leadership ability that you wouldn't really think would be a great thing for these guys, right? But it is. Okay, so the troopers gain 20 extra speed, not ISC and GAR, which is a good thing, and they're also getting 10% turn meter whenever they gain a buff. Now, what this means is that essentially ISC and GAR are never going to take a turn, which is actually really good, because if you've ever used them before, you'll know that when they take a turn, they deal negative damage, right? They don't do anything when they take a turn. All their damage comes from when they attack out of turn. So the fact that they never get to take a turn is actually a really, really good thing, okay? So now let's go ahead and hop over to Admiral Piet. This is where, excuse me, sorry. This is where the whole thing works, right? So if you were to go against CLS and Piet were to die right off the rip, it would not work. This is what makes the whole thing come together, okay? So Imperial Ambition allows you to mark down an ally and apply inevitable failure to that ally, essentially making it so they are taunting, basically. They become marked. So anytime that Admiral Piet uses a basic attack, allies with inevitable failure are called to assist. Okay, that is very, very important. Without Piet, this does not work, okay? So, very important clarification. And the reason why we're throwing in Ranged Trooper last but not least is just because he adds a nice element to this lineup, and it makes it so that whenever Imperial Trooper uses an ability, there is a 50% chance to call in another buffed Imperial Trooper ally. Now, the really nice thing about this, actually, is considering that there are only 3 Imperial Troopers, there is actually a much higher percentage chance that Piet is called in to assist. Actually, if you look at the math itself, if you're looking at not just Ranged Trooper himself, there's only 2 other, Imperial Trooper allies, meaning that there is a 50% chance you're calling on either Veers or Piet. If Veers gets called into assist, it's like, nothing really happens. But if Piet gets called into assist, remember that he calls in a marked ally, right? So that basically just gets the whole thing going. So if you were to use a full Imperial Troopers lineup, there would be 4 other Imperial Troopers besides Ranged Trooper himself, meaning that there's only a 25% chance you're calling in Dark Trooper to assist, who is basically all your damage, right? So that's pretty much the gist of the kits here. So now let's go ahead and take another look at the footage, and let's just give a closer deep dive as to what is happening in this moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up this clip, start it from the beginning. Battle starts at about right here. There we go. So, taking this knowledge that we know, most important thing we are doing first is that we are marking down. Okay, now this thing, I do want to say, you can either mark down Gar Saxon or Imperial Super Commando. It doesn't really matter which. However, I would argue it does. Just because, like we said before, Imperial Super Commando has a 100% counter chance, okay? So, it would actually be better to mark down Super Commando, because given the odd chance that the enemy team takes a turn, they're going to attack your breached ally, and if it's ISC, that means he's going to counterattack, and when he counterattacks, he calls in Gar Saxon to assist, and so they will both counterattack. If you mark down Gar Saxon and Gar Saxon gets attacked, as we saw in the Sith Eternal clip, it is not an 100% chance that Gar Saxon is going to counterattack, okay? So I would recommend marking down ISC. I think that is the more efficient character to mark down. But if your enemy is never taking a turn, it doesn't really matter, just because as long as one character attacks out of turn, the other will attack out of turn. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark this off, or start this off. So we have the mark, which is the most important thing that makes this work. Next, we have Veers taking a turn, who's going to do his mass assist, and as you can also see, we are already gaining stacks of Emperor's Trap, which, I should have mentioned, sorry, this was my fault, I should have mentioned this as well. If we look at what Emperor's Trap does, basically, let's see. It is whenever an Empire ally begins a turn or attacks out of turn, we gain Emperor's Trap. And what is Emperor's Trap? Basically, we just get increased offense per stack of Emperor's Trap. So, sorry, I should have mentioned that before, my bad. But that's basically the gist. The nice thing is, like I said, the ISC and Gar are not gaining turn meter from Emperor's Trap, but they are gaining extra offense. So we call in everyone to assist. And then there's the Piet assist, and because Piet assist, he calls in the ally with inevitable failure into assist, which is Gar Saxon, and when Gar Saxon attacks out of turn, there goes Imperial Super Commando. Now, if you look at the damage itself, right, this is with hardly any stacks of Emperor's Trap. Gar Saxon is already hitting for true damage, which is 31,000 damage. Crazy damage. Here comes Imperial Super Commando with the assist. He hits for 46,000 true damage, and then Gar Saxon ends it off with 33,000 true damage. So right off that opening play, if you're just looking at the true damage itself, not even including the actual base damage from, these 3 Imperial Troopers and Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando, if we're just looking at the true damage, off the opening play alone, with hardly any stacks of Emperor's Trap, that is already 100,000 damage being outputted into this team. Crazy. All right, here comes another assist. Imperial Super Commando assisting for 47,000 damage. Here comes Gar for 37. Here comes Imperial Super Commando again for 50. And then Gar ends it off with another 39,000. Here comes the Piet assist. And then boom, he's getting put in the grave. 42,000 true damage. And then he's dead. Now we move on to Ezra. As you can see, we get no assists, but it's okay because we're still gaining trap. Meaning that these guys are still gaining more turn meter. Here comes the assist. What was that? 49,000 damage? What was that? 49,000 damage. Boom, he's feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Now here comes Shock T. There's the assist, 53,000 from Gar Saxon. So as you can see, he started off at 31. Now he's at 53, I think is what I said. 53,000? Yep. So there's Gar Saxon, 53,000 damage. That's a tank character, by the way. Here comes ISC for 63,000. And then we end it off. There's the assist, 58,000 from Gar Saxon, 68,000 damage from Imperial Super Commando, and another 61,000. Yeah, another 61,000 from Gar Saxon. Absolutely ridiculous damage. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you that you do not need Dark Trooper. He is better on Imperial Remnant than he is on this lineup because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a replacement. So, thank you all for watching. Make sure to share this video. This is obviously a big deal, right? If you are not using this lineup, would highly, highly recommend, especially if you do not have Maul and you have nowhere to put Imperial Super Commando and Gar Saxon, because this rework is too good not to use. So, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Join my Discord server. Follow me on Twitch. All that fun stuff. And other than that, guys, I will catch y'all later. Peace out.